In astrology, everything has a birth time, but knowing as accurate of a birth time as possible is critically important. And Robert Glasscock and I have created a program to help you do just that. A crystal clear 30-minute video outlining the technique, an MP3 of a podcast explaining it, and a step-by-step instructional PDF. So you get it 3 different ways, and how you get it is at the top of the funastrology.com website. Check it out and give it a try on your own chart. Welcome into the Fun Astrology Podcast. Thomas Miller. I think you're going to like what we got to talk about today. Yeah. Oh, no, not that. My hand hit a button on my little keypad here. Maybe I ought to rethink my introduction to this podcast. Wow. Hey, everybody, that was real and raw. I'm not going to redo it. Hey, everybody, Thomas Miller, thanks so much for joining us. I guess I should let you know that Uranus stations direct this week. I got to stop laughing. That is too much. Well, let's do lucky stars while we're on this lucky roll. Good morning, Kristin.
Hi, Thomas and Fun Astrology Podcast family. We have a bunch of lucky stars days this week, Tuesday through Thursday, as well as Saturday and Sunday. This is the last full week of Venus in Pisces, so I hope you all can use it to its fullest. I hope you all have a lucky week.
Thank you so much, Kristin. And that shows up all through what we're going to talk about, because one of the things I wanted to do was bring back the keywords that we used to do. So we used to do this some time ago. There's a program that I bought back in the day called Mastro, and I think it's Mastro, and this is the expert version, the upgraded version, and it's Canadian. But it has an algorithm. I guess everything is an algorithm today, right? You do a recipe for chicken soup. Well, yeah, there's this algorithm for healing. Well, this Mastro has an algorithm for keywords where it looks at a period of time and it looks at a foundational chart and it projects out for that time. So the way you set this up is I put today in as the anchor day, basically, and then look at the 7 days around it. So I run it for the whole week. And listen to some of these keywords that came up in the search. Creativity, work, encounter, change, success. Energy's in there quite a bit. Friendship, joy, projects. But the one that really stood out to me was creativity. And that certainly matches some of the aspects that we'll be hearing about this week. What was interesting is I ran it for next week. And remember, change showed up? Change showed up really big on Friday and Saturday. And then next week, listen to these: delusion, illusion, work, effort, also energy, happiness, art. But you can feel a heavier feeling around next week's keywords. So let's enjoy the energy that we have this week. I would say in a summary of the week, we could either say lighter or we could say less heavy. Venus, the planet of love, balance, harmony, money, will be out of its shadow period as of tomorrow morning. Yay! That means it's all the way back where it was before it went retrograde, so new ground ahead for Venus. Uranus, the planet of hitting the wrong buttons in the middle of your introduction, goes direct on Thursday morning. Yay! Also Thursday, the Sun and positive expansion Jupiter kiss each other with a trine, a positive aspect, on Thursday. Yay! And you know how I like to look at the grid view? It's basically where it just puts it in a great big square grid, and I count the positive and negative aspects. Just a real simple view. At least today, they are mostly all positive. Very little tension in the chart today. Again, yay. Now let me speak to one thing that has come up, and we did a Subconscious Mind Mastery podcast on this. Judy Diamond and I recorded just some general thoughts about how everybody is feeling tension. I put some feelers out over the weekend. Hey, have you been feeling this? And yes, boy, a lot of people coming back saying they are so feeling, heavier now than it was last fall in comparison. And through the lens of astrology, we knew this was coming. 5 outer planets changing signs within 2.5 years broadly. Purveyors of databases like Ray Merriman's going back thousands of years, not able to find that much that fast. Conflicting energies. Today you have this stack in Pisces like we've talked about, Saturn, Venus, Neptune, and the North Node. If you were to put that in modern day terms, you would call those social media influencer planets. Those are social influencers. They're in Pisces, water, dreams, visions, illusions, delusions, confusion, addictions, the connection to the home office. See the contrast? And they are aspected to another set of influencers called the Sun and Pluto in the revolutionary sign of Aquarius. You remember back, 15 years ago, the Arab Spring? That all happened through social media, which was in its infancy compared to today. Earlier, we mentioned Uranus coming out of retrograde. And by the way, I'll just mention on the funastrology.com website, you can go down there a little bit, and there's a banner that has a click through to the retrograde calendar. If you want to brush up on what is and what isn't in retrograde, it's all there. What's the difference, you might ask, between a Uranus in retrograde versus a Uranus direct? Well, the retrograde focuses more on the change, the radical renovation, etc., individually. My growth, my focus, my change, what needs to change here. Now that it is shifting into what's called direct motion, like it's moving forward in the sky, that's where you get the external shakeups, like the Arab Spring, where a society or a group or something happens collectively out there. And if you are thinking, well, what about the fires? Didn't they happen under Uranus in retrograde? That was certainly external. Oh, yes. But remember, Uranus is the third slowest mover in our solar system. So anything that happens to it on a given day, in this case Thursday, has weeks of crossover energy, basically. And, you would have to ask, those affected by these fires, like the very precious souls in western North Carolina and those along the coastlines of Florida affected by those hurricanes, all see the world differently today, don't they? So if all of this is weighing on your shoulders, let me summarize it with this. There is a new dawn ahead. Some of it's going to be good, some of it's not. I'm very concerned, as you may have seen from a video that I did, and I think I put it on the podcast, the special edition last week, about this Stargate project. Yep, I'm taking the shadow side of that one. In fact, I heard over the weekend that Saudi Arabia is getting involved. I'm like, oh, great. Yeah, now that's exactly what I want, is my health information sucked up by some digital database given to the Saudis. That's the kind of change that we're talking about, though. And we are all going to have to figure out how we fit into that. And I'll go back to what I've gone back to for the last 3 or 4 years, that the only thing that we can do, and the thing that we can do, is to stand in high consciousness and be some kind of light and some kind of beacon for positive change. Fred Dodson wrote Levels of Energy. You want a summary of it? Love, Venus, is a higher emotion than fear. Saturn. Scorpio, Pluto, the 12th house. So we stand in love, we stand in hope, and we use that strong symbolism of those social influencers in Pisces to connect to our intuition. We go to the chart, we go inside, we go to the things that mean and matter the most to us, that speak to our soul the loudest, and we determine our direction, and we stay in very close touch. That's where I'm staying. I hope this helps. Let's enjoy the week ahead. It should be great overall. Have a good day. I love you so much. Thanks for listening.